Okay, so now let's move forward to lab number 3, in which we are going to focus on manage Azure resources by using Azure Resource Manager template. Now, I'm sure you understood ARM template very well in the module. Now it's the time to try this thing practically. Now in this particular lab, actually, we have some lab files which are going to be downloaded automatically in this. Now this lab files will be available in the step-by-step link of the document, which is available in the description of this video. So you can actually check out that and then you can get the files from that. In my case, I just clicked on this button in the lab environment, and somewhere inside my computer, inside F drive, these files are going to be available. Now in this file, we basically have lab section, in which for lab number 3, we actually have our Bicep template available inside this. Now this is nothing but that file which we are going to use in this particular lab, and that's the reason we need these files. So we are good with this. We are moving forward the steps. The first thing they are showing me as it is I have to open my Edge browser. I'm going to open portal.azure.com. Now remember guys, ARM template and Bicep template, both are something which are same. Both are actually infrastructure as a code kind of a thing. But as we have understood this in the module, that ARM templates are a little older one, and Bicep templates are the better revision of that, which are still work in progress kind of a thing. So you can actually do the deployment with any of these templates available inside that. Now I just logged into my Azure portal right now, and we are going to follow the steps now. So we are just going to focus on the next step. As you can see, manage Azure resources by using Azure Resource Manager template. This is the lab which we are going to do. The architecture which is visible here is like this. You're going to use one particular disk, you can see right now, and this disk is something which you're going to create manually through Azure Portal. Then that particular disk creation template is what we are going to extract from that, and that is what we call exporting that template. Once the template is exported, using the template we are going to create disk number 2. Then using PowerShell we are going to create disk number 3. Then using CLI we are going to create disk number 4. And then using Bicep template we are going to create disk number 5. Basically in this particular lab you're going to do 5 steps. In each step you are actually going to create one same resource, which is a disk. But the way you're going to do that thing is going to be different. So basically we are going to see 5 different ways to create Azure resources today in this particular lab. And that's where we have this 5 tasks. Let's go with each task one by one. First thing is we already logged into Azure Portal, and now we are going to go for disk. First one is a very simple one because we are going to create the disk using Azure Portal. We'll click on create. I'm going to choose a resource group. Well, there is no resource group here, so if required, I need to create the resource group with the name RG3. This is a lab number 3, so RG3. The display name for disk 1 is what we are giving is disk 1, AZ-104 disk 1. East US location is fine. As per the instructions, I'm just going to choose performance is going to be standard HDD with 32 GB. So I'm going to choose availability zone is no infrastructure redundancy required. And size of this is going to be standard HDD, which is this, with 32 GB smallest size. Once this is done, we'll click on next, and I think everything else is fine. We'll click on review plus create. We'll click on create, and very soon the disk is going to be created. We are taking an example of a disk creation right now, but remember you can create any resource using the same kind of a process. My deployment is done. I'm going to click on go to resource. And now inside this, we have an auto message section in which we have export template. This is a place where I can export a template of this particular resource. You can see it will take few seconds to generate the template for me. And this is going to be an ARM template. Same way we have an option for Bicep template also if you want to try it out. Now once the template is created, you can see template file is there, parameter file is also there, and all we are going to do is we are going to click on download. This is going to download this template file as a zip, so it is available now. And if that is the one, we are going to use this file in the coming steps. So we are good with this. Our template is successfully exported. And if we go back to the resource group, you will be able to see that this resource group is just having one resource right now, which is a disk. Let's move forward to task number 2, in which we are going to edit an Azure Resource Manager template, and then we are going to redeploy the template. In order to do this, the first step is we are going to focus on deploying a custom template. Let me just do that. I'm selecting deploying a custom template. I'm going to choose build your own template in the editor. And now this is a place where you can actually customize our template. I'm going to click on load file. And then I'll go to downloads. We have a template available here. I'll just extract this. I just want to select it. So I'm going to choose my template.json and that's going to be loaded here. Once it is loaded, I'm going to click on save. And you can see right now, they are also showing me that once you do the load file, you can actually use the editor and you can make changes to the disk name. Now I have actually clicked on save, but if I still want to edit this thing, I can click on the edit template, and this is a place where I can get the same template again and I can change the configurations. Now it's showing me that you can change the disk name, which is here, and the default value of that you can change it to. So this is the value which I have to change. So I'm just going to select this. And then I'm going to replace it with the disk underscore name. So this is going to be my template property associated with this, and it's showing me that you have to change this thing at 2 different places. So we have to pass on this thing at 2 different places. I think the name which is available here is this one. So this is also the name where I have to change it to disk name. Anywhere else do we have this? No, I don't think that is there. So this name is something which we have changed. Then they are saying change AZ-104 disk 1 to disk 2. So this is not going to be disk 1. This is going to be disk 2. This is the second change which we are doing, and this is only one place where we have to change. Step number 5 is actually done. And the location for this one is actually set up as East US. That's what they're asking us to observe. So I think this is 32 GB standard HDD. And East US location is there. Everything else looks good. We are going to click on save. Template is successfully modified. Now all we have to do is we have to click on edit parameters. And in the parameters, we are going to load our parameter.json file. So I'm going to click on load. I'll select parameters.json, and then we are going to click on save. Now in that also they are saying that you just make sure that you are changing the disk AZ-104 disk name to disk name. So let me just change that thing. When we do the load file, parameters.json, and this one we have to change to disk name, and I'm going to click on save. Once we are done with this, the next thing is we just have to save it, and then we have to provide the configuration like our subscription. Resource group is going to be RG3, which is already there. Region will be East US, and the name will be Azure Disk 2. I think everything else looks same. I don't need to change anything. All I'm going to do is review plus create. And if validation is passed, we are going to click on create, which will create our disk number 2. But this time this deployment is happening with the help of ARM template. The deployment is successfully done. I'm going to click on go to resource, and now in this you can check right now in the left side we have a configurational sections where we are going to click on deployments. And if I go to this, it's showing me that successfully we have done the deployment for this template. Now if we click on this, you can see we have an inputs kind of a template configuration available here. So we can see the inputs, which is disk 2, the output which we are going to get is there, and then we have a template also, which is the same template which we have configured inside this. If we go to our resource group, this time the resource group is going to have 2 disks, disk 1 and disk 2. Both are available. So we are done with task number 2 also. Let's move to step number 3, in which we are going to use PowerShell. Now in this information, they are asking me that either you click on this particular icon, which is here, or you can maybe go to shell.azure.com in the separate tab to access PowerShell associated with this. Whichever way you prefer is perfectly fine. Now when it is asking me for Bash and PowerShell, the first thing we are going to choose right now is we are going to use PowerShell. So they are just showing me that you choose PowerShell. I'm going to choose PowerShell. And then on the getting started page, in the mount storage account, select storage account subscription and apply. So I'm going to choose mount storage account, my subscription, and I'm going to click on apply. Then in the next step, where it's saying that I want to create a storage, so I have to say I want to create a storage account. And then after that, I have to choose my resource group, which is RG3. I have to select my region, which is going to be the same region like East US. And in the storage account name, we have to provide some storage account name. So I'm just giving Maruti storage with some number. And in the file share name, I'm going to provide fs cloud shell. So this is a default configuration. Every time when you initialize the cloud shell, you can do the same kind of a thing. I'm doing it similar way. And then once this is done, my cloud shell is going to be initiated successfully. Now the cloud shell which is getting loaded right now is actually the modern cloud shell version, which is right now loading. You can see in the next step itself is showing me that you can just go to the classic version, and then inside that you can focus on upload download files, and then you can upload the template files inside this. Now I'll just wait for this to initialize successfully first, and once it is initialized with the help of the storage, I'll switch to the classic version and then I'll do the step. Hey guys, sorry for interruption. My name is Maruti and I'm here to make a very important announcement. I hope you are liking our videos and you're doing a continuous learning with us on an Azure Cloud and AI related topics. If you are enjoying this thing, I'm going to announce SkillTech.club, which is our upcoming website, which is going to be launched very soon. We are here to tell you one thing, that everyone who is a subscriber of this particular channel will get Azure Cloud and Azure AI related certification courses free of cost in SkillTech.club. So you will be a part of the SkillTech.club kind of a membership automatically free of cost. And everyone who's a subscriber of this particular channel will get those benefits which are available in that. So what are you waiting for? I request you to please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and families if they are also interested in Azure Cloud and AI learning. That's it from my side. Now you can carry on with your learning. Thank you. Okay, my cloud shell is successfully initialized for this user. Let's click on settings. Let's go to the classic version. In the classic version, we are going to first focus on this button, which is actually for upload download files. I'll click on upload, and it's asking me that I have to upload my template and parameter files from the downloads directory. So I'm going to first upload templates file, and then I'm going to upload parameter file. And once both are done, we will be able to see that file here just by doing dir. You can see my parameter file and my template file both are there with some other configuration of the cloud shell. We are good with the files, and in that case we are going to move forward to the next step, in which it is saying that why don't you just click on the curly bracket so that you can get to the editor, and then you can actually update and customize your JSON file. This is the curly bracket which they are talking about. I'm going to click on this editor. It's going to show me a separate section in which I can get those files. So I have a template.json file, I have parameter.json file, and I have other files also visible inside this. I'm going to modify certain things inside this template as per the instructions. So the next thing they are saying is make a change. For example, change the disk name to AZ-104 disk 3. So this is not going to be disk 1 anymore. We are going to change it to disk 3. Then after doing that, we are just going to do Control S. Everything else we are keeping same. It's just like we want to use this template for the new disk, which is going to have a name Azure disk 3, and then we are going to move forward. So we are just going to close this editor. I'm going to fire a command as per the instructions, which is new AZ resource group deployment, and then we are specifying we want to do the deployment based on this template. So we are passing our template.json and we are passing our parameter.json inside that. The moment I execute this command, within few seconds, it's actually going to create my disk with the new name which I have given inside that. And if it is done, I can execute this next command, which is get AZ disk. And this command is actually going to show me the newly created disk which is there. Let me do that. And you can see I got a lengthy output, but this is actually showing me that I got my disk 3 created with this. And this is my resource group. This is my disk 3 which is created, and inside the resource group we have disk 1 first, then we have disk 2, and then after that we have disk 3 also. So it's all good. Resource group is having 3 disks now. We are done with the deployment with PowerShell. Now let's try to do the same thing with the bash. So let me just switch this command prompt from PowerShell to bash. In bash commands, you just have to fire a different commands, but ultimately it's actually capable to do everything what you are able to do in PowerShell. So once the bash command prompt is loaded, the first thing which I'm going to do is ls. ls is going to give me list of the files, and it's showing me that yes, I still have my parameters.json and template.json file in this. Remember, bash or PowerShell, both the command prompts are actually using the same storage account. So whatever files you're going to upload inside that is actually going to work in both the scenarios. I'm going to again click on editor, and this time we are going to change the name to disk 4. Let's do the same thing. Clicking on template.json, changing the name from disk 3 to disk 4, saving this file, and closing the editor. And then we are going to fire this command, which is az deployment group create, and then inside that it's going to do the resource group this and the template file deployment, which is this. Again, within few seconds the deployment will be done. If it succeeded, we can check whether the new disk is created or not by executing the next command, which is little different than the previous one. This was get az disk. Like in this case it is az disk list, and then we are going to get the output in the table format. That's what we are specifying here. The disk creation is successful. Let's execute the command, which is az disk list. And now you can see it's showing me disk number 4 also, and that is also successfully created. We are good with all this. Now let's move to the last task, which is actually going to do the deployment with the Bicep template. And remember, the Bicep template is already available in our all files kind of a folder, which we have taken care in the first step itself. This Bicep template is what we are going to use. But before we do that thing, let's go back to our Cloud Shell, in which we are already there in the bash command prompt. We are going to locate the file, which is that Bicep file, and that is the one which we are actually going to use. So they are saying continue working in the Cloud Shell in the bash session. Then you can just click on upload Bicep file, and then you can just open that and use that thing with the classic editor, and you can select the Bicep file. So we are already in the classic editor. All we have to do is upload. We'll upload the new file, which is inside F drive, all files, lab 3, and the Bicep file. Once the file is uploaded successfully, let's move forward to the next step, which is we are going to make certain changes inside that. So let's just click on editor. We'll click on the Bicep template file. There are so many things which are mentioned inside that. We have to change certain things, like change the manage disk name value in line number 4, which is going to be to disk 4. So if you see right now, this is a manage disk name, and in the string parameter you have a disk name configuration here. So I'm going to change this to disk name, in which is going to be disk 4. Then in the SKU we have to change that thing. So we have values associated with it, disk size in GB, parameter, disk ops, and then somewhere inside this we should have an SKU option, which they are saying is going to be line number 26. So somewhere this is the one which is SKU option, in which it is Ultra SSD LRS, which they are choosing here. But in this case, it's asking me that you change to standard SSD LRS. So I'm not going to go with Ultra. I'm going to choose standard SSD underscore LRS, which is perfectly fine. And finally, we have to change disk size in GB value, which is in line number 7, to 32. Now let's see the line number 7, which is disk size in GB, which is 8. Let's change it to 32. Once you are done with these changes, you have to save this file, and then once you save the file, you are ready to execute this. Let's close the editor. Let me just clear the screen, and now I'm going to execute this command. The only difference in this command is this time we are going to provide a template, which is a Bicep template. This is just a warning, so you can ignore that. Don't worry, it's still going to work. Disk is successfully created, and in that case, let's just execute this command to see whether we have the final disk is also available in that or not. You can see we got disk number 4, which is now having standard SSD LRS 32 GB size. It's all good. If this is done, we have created 5 different disks using 5 different ways in Azure Portal. And that means that it's the time to refresh this resource group. We have all 5 disks available. We do not want to keep it, so I'm just going to delete the resource group and I'm going to end this lab. So this is what we have done in lab number 3. Remember, we have done this thing with the disk, but you can do this thing with any kind of a resource. The only thing is you have to take care of the template configuration properly, and the same commands are going to be work seamlessly without any issues. That's it for today. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next module.